What's up, world? Welcome back to my channel, Loud Journey with your man Mingo. And I figure I'm gonna base this video off story time. And I'm gonna take this video as far as back when I got locked up. And it was December 23rd, 2005. And I'm gonna take you straight to the point where they apprehended me. And I wasn't in the motion of committing the crime. Then my arrest led it up to an investigation of them putting out a warrant for my arrest. And that point began it with a phone call. And a guy that stays down the street from me, he called me. And he was like, he wanted to talk with me that day. And I was out and about, moving around, stopping, visiting relatives, just enjoying that day. I wasn't into doing no criminal activities or nothing like that. But, yeah, he was knee deep in the street, and I'm talking about he stayed in some with the law. But at the time, I was like, he can catch up with me later. I remember telling him that over the phone, man, get up with me later, because I'm out taking care of business, which I was just visiting family or whatever, but I ain't felt like, getting up with this guy, getting up with another guy, because it was another phone call besides him telling me the same thing, man, I need to holler at you. And I was like, man, I'm taking care of business there. And I remember that night when I got home, I stopped and got me something to eat. I stopped at Blockbuster. I stopped somewhere and got me some DVDs to watch me some movies that night. And the relationship I was in, it was like a distant relationship, but it wasn't a distant. She would be back and forth from here to where she was from, staying at, which was Georgia at the time. And here I'm in Alabama. Her family staying in Alabama. So it was like more Georgia time she was here. But I was going really to visit my family because I had plans on going to Georgia and, spending time with her for maybe a month or two. But at the same time, to avoid my case. And I remember getting home and I got the phone call from him, and I guess he noticed I was home, and he was like, man, he needed to get with me, he needed to talk to me, could I step out? So I was like, no, I'm in for the night, man. I said, man, I'm tired. I said, man, I'll holler at you in the morning. And I get a knock on the door, and he was trying to really get me out the house, but I was like, man, I ain't coming out no more night, man. I'm in for the night. It was like maybe, I want to say 8, 9 o'clock, something like that. And I remember when he left, and I was looking at the grass as his car lights faded away. And he went home. I guess he went on home. And I sat down, ate me something. I popped in the DVD. They ain't even push play yet. And I decided, I was smoking cigarettes at the time, so I was like, man, let me step outside and smoke me a cigarette, give me a little F. So I stepped outside, smoked me a cigarette. I was looking around, and it was active that night. And where I was staying at then, a lot of college students stayed out there. So I know it was kind of active that night, so I was like, man, why? It was a Thursday night. And Christmas Eve was that Friday. So I was wondering why it was so active out there. So I noticed a SUV, it looked like a Tahoe, and it pulled up, but the lights was on in it. And I noticed, it wasn't a familiar person up in the truck, but it was just, everything just hit me. I know something was odd about it. When it pulled up, another truck pulled up, which was a Dodge Ram. And they had been detectives. They hopped out the back of the truck. They pulled out their guns and they made me get down. They kept yelling, get down. So I was like, what the problem is? I said, man, I stay out here. So they was like, get down on the ground, and I was like, man, here it is. So Impala pulled up in a black and white, police patrol car pulled up. So this the catch. The detective pulled up on me, so he was like, "What's your name?" So I told him my name. So the paper that he showed me was a picture, not a warrant. So he says, "This you?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me. That look like me." So I was like, "Yeah, that's me." So he like, they need to take me in for questioning. But I said, "Man, if y'all need to question me," I said, "you could have left a card. I would have called." I like, man, it don't take for all this. And they put me in the back of the squad car, took me down to the city jail, put me in one of the interrogation rooms, and they questioned me about cases that were taking places around the city. So I was like, I wouldn't cooperate, so they didn't take liking to it. So they kept me in a good little minute. I'll say it's about like 3-4 in the morning before they transferred me to the county jail. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and make bond now, because I know they charging me, because they said they was gonna charge me with the case. So I wouldn't cooperate. I wouldn't even sign the paper. I wouldn't even sign the paper. So when they took me in, I was like, "What my bond in?" And the intake officer was like, "Man, what I did," because they were like, "Man, my bond was extremely high." And when they took me in that night, they took me in on a $260,000 bond. So I was like, man, they just locking me up like I'd have murdered somebody or something. I said, "What?" I said, "Man, what's going on?" I said, "Why my bond is that high?" So they was like, "Well, when you go for your first hearing, they'll drop your bond because they'll see that bond is excessive." So I was like, all right. So I said, "Man, they got to come on with it," because I was like, "Man, that is ridiculous." So when I went for a first hearing, the magistrate left my bond at that much. So the next, maybe that was the Thursday, that Monday, the officers, they came back, some detectives came back and asked me about another case. Charged me with another case. So that made my bond $290,000, in which I do have the paperwork because I was looking over it. And well, I'm gonna fold my name. And well, matter of fact, I'm just gonna cover my name right here, which y'all wouldn't know my name. And if y'all can see it, where it's written right there, $260,000. That was the date. I can't see the date. The date is down there. That's for the 23rd of 2005. Come back, gave me another case, $30,000 bond, 200. That was that Monday for $30,000, which made my bond $290,000. And I just knew, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to ride this on out. So I did have a co-defendant, which I never seen the co-defendant. Turned out the co-defendant was a confidential informant. He was a CI. And I do have the paperwork, which is, man, it's 500-600 pages. But I did have a co-defendant, and I remember sitting in the county. I was like, man, I ain't gonna put my people through it to make my bond, because I was like, man, I dug this hole for myself. So as I was sitting in the county, I was like, some of the cases they charged me with, I knew I didn't do, but I know I was guilty for something. So I rolled it out, and man, I signed the county maybe, I went to DOC June, so I signed the county in maybe 6 months. And man, that wasn't the long part. The long part when I actually got my time. And throughout the course of my cases, back and forth to court, the judge told me, they were like, if we find you guilty on one case, we're going to give you life without on each and every last one of your cases. And that really, like, man, what can I do? I'm like, I'm not rich like that to get one of the best lawyers around. How can I fight this case? I know, I felt like I was legally arrested because they didn't have a warrant until they put me into the county jail. It's a lot more to it. And well, I got sentenced. I played out because I had 6 charges. So they gave me they told me to take the life sentence and they will run them all together. Or if I take it to trial, they said I can beat the ones that I know I can beat. But if they find me guilty on one, they're going to find me guilty on all of them. And that really shook me up. So I really was like, what can my lawyer do? I was like, all right, they talking about taking a life sentence, but they say they'll give me a life without if I decide to fight the cases. And if they find me guilty on one, I might well hang it up for the rest of them. And I was like, I'll never see, the free side of the fence no more. So the lawyer, which was, I'm talking about, he wasn't that good of a lawyer. I'm not going to call his name, but he was like, well, I'll go talk to the DA and see can they give you a life sentence for all of them, and they run them in. So I was like, man, I don't want to make no agreement, and this ain't in black and white, and I want to make sure that the judge agree on it. So it was so quick. The way he did it, it was like maybe 3 or 4 days after we talked, he was back with the papers showing me how he's going to do it. And I was like, man, so how much I got to do on this life sentence? And he was like, well, hopefully you don't do no more than 10 years. So my mind was already set, man. I'm going to have to go down there, buckle down and do the 10 years. And hopefully they let me out when I do the 10 years. And let's say I did plea out. I pleaded out. I pleaded to the life. And I was like, man, when would I see my parole set up? Man, my parole hearing set up. So he was like, man, give it a couple of years, they'll send your parole date. And when I got down to DOC, I went to a max facility first. The first camp I went to was, I want to say, St. Clair. I went to St. Clair. They put me on the big yard. We call it the big yard because it's open. I mean, it's cell blocks, and it's 2 people to a cell. When I was there, but upstairs tiers they 3 people to a cell, and I was like, man, this ain't the end of the road for me. I was like, man, I can't do this. But they put me to work in the kitchen, and by me having a first life sentence, like I'm on the back burner. It's like going to see the clarification officer. They can't suggest me to do nothing because I'm fresh there, and I got a long-term sentence. So it was like, get you an institutional job, and just keep your nose clean. So that was my green light of, well, hey man, we throwing you back done, that's it. It's over for you. So I kind of was like, man, I can't rock like this. And I met this guy. He was from Birmingham, and we was in the gym that we go shoot ball at. They play the music, you get yard time, you work out, stuff like that. So I was talking to this guy. He got the same sentence. I got a life sentence for what robbed. So I was like, man, we was in the same, and we was cool. He went on the big yard. He was in an open bay dorm, which is called the therapeutic community dorm, where they take TC programs, a 2-year program. And I was like, he kept telling me, man, come down there, man, get into the program, man. So he was like, man, every time you see me, man, come down there, get into the program. So I was like, man, I'm not finna get no program this early in my sentence. I was like, man, they'll bury that in my file. But it was one day, and there was running the canteen, which is the store, and we go up there, line up, we get our store pads and IDs, they call our names. So he was up there. So we had to talk again and a couple other guys, and they were like, man, come down there to the program. So I was like, man, I'm gonna go down there to the program. But I ain't finna take no program, but I'll come down there to the program. Cause it's more you can't have a life without sins and be down in that program. So it's more of you going into an environment where people got an opportunity where they're getting out. They got an opportunity to get to a lesser facility than the max camp I was at. So I was like, man, I'm gonna come down there. And when I went down there, I'll say after about 3 months, me being down there around the guys, I said, man, while I'm down here, I might well get involved into the program. And I ain't wanted to. And let me say I met another guy, which was a guy I went to school with. He had 640 years. You know, I'm quite sure he's still locked up right now. But and we talked, and he was like, man, get into the program. I was like, man, I'm gonna get into the program. But I said, I get into this program. I said, man, I'm gonna graduate the program. I said, I ain't get into the program just to be down there. Because you had guys been in that program 3 to 4 years, because you got to complete the phases of the program to graduate. So as long as you get set back, the longer you'll be down there. So the program is a 2-year program minimum. But if you breathe through the program and you complete the courses of the program, in order for you to graduate the program, you got to get the GED. But you can complete the program and just have completion of it. And I get into the program. So I buckle down. I like, man, I got to go ahead and get this program. Now I done signed the papers. I don't need no failure because it'll go into my files. So I said, man, I got to graduate this program. And I buckled down. I really did. I'm talking about it was mind bending. I'm talking about it was to the point where you would be fatigued. It was time you would get 4 hours of sleep because you got to close logs out. You got to sit up. You got to pre-plan that when you get up in the program. You had to study for stuff. You had so many classes a day, different type of class, because it's a behavior modification program. So, man, let me make the long story short. I ended up got in the GED class while I was in the program, because it's a long-term program, so you can do other things while you're in the program, except go to trade school and stuff like that. But they had GED classes down there, so I tested to get in the GED class. But I tested so high to the point where they was like, the instructor was like, well, I did good on the, I want to say pre-test or whatever they call it, and they was like, well, can you help, to the GED? So I like, man, I don't mind doing that, but then I got to take this program, and I'm in a phase where I'm already not getting the proper rest I need as it is. So they kind of, bend the little rules in the program to, I had a little class where guys I would help in certain areas, to, study for the GED. And my biggest thing with them was read. I was like, man, it wasn't nothing else. If I had to help them with math, that was something different. But my biggest thing, I always pushed to the guys I was tutoring or whatever, that, man, reading will help you a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? So I always told them, man, get you a book. On the weekend, you ain't got much to do, grab you a book. Stop running up there to the yard, want to hang out with your partners or something. If you trying to get out, grab your book. If that's what they want you to do, get your GED, So like always, grab your book, read your book. And that's my main thing. I love to read. And as time went by, let me say I graduated the program in 17 months. So I graduated a little bit early, but then I went through the program. I didn't try to slide through it, and they got that terminology to slide. So I had to do seminars. I did all 3 of my seminars. We had 30-minute, 15-minute, and we had an hour seminar that we had to present in front of the guys that's in the program. And I went on and written mine up. I'm talking about before it was my time to come to do my seminar. So we had to put in to do our seminar, and I put in for all 3 of mine all at one time. I ain't want to wait, and I'm ready to do my 15. 2 weeks later, a month later, I'm set up. I went on to knock all mines out at one time. That pretty much pushed me on out the door to open up room to let more guys down. But from there, I went to electrical school. Well, let me see if I, I thought I might have had it. Y'all, but work with me. Yeah, I think I got it right here. Now, this is the program I graduated in 2009, which is the Therapeutic Community Program, and the certificates in it. There was one of them. It took me 17 months. I have the certificate, but I can't find a certificate. And from there, I graduated. While I was in there, I graduated long distance dad. I'm not a father. I don't have kids, but it was something for me to take. I can get them on my belt and I can learn something. I took it. Well, this is my GED diploma. I graduated this. I got my GED November 2007. I got a recommendation letter for if I ever get out, the schools, the colleges I can apply for and go to school. And let me show you. This is my testing results. I'm trying to find a letter, but I can't find a letter as well. I had an envelope, the letter come in, but I can't find the letter. As well, I got New Life Behavior with a Christian program where we get certificates for, and it took 13 weeks to get these. And I went to these for, I believe, at least half a year because I got 3 separate certificates. I think I got more. And I took up a class called Might of the 21st Century Manhood Program. And this right before I got out because I was always trying to keep something going positive to put into my file as well. When I graduated that program, I went and got my electrical trade. And this in technology, and I got the certificates, hard copies for the residential and industrial, as well as PC, as well as my grade, which all was like 4.0 averaging. And I kind of stuck with everything. If I could get in it and my sentence didn't hinder me, I was doing it. I didn't feel like if I had to spend time, I ain't had the time to sit and linger around, hang out on the sidewalk with guys talking about nothing. They'll always let me see what's going on. I can do something, you know. And there was time where I got stagnated a little bit, but guess what? When there was nothing for me to do at that camp, they transferred me to a lesser level camp, which was Draper, and it wasn't anything for me to do there. I was a dorm cleaner there for 18 months, and I got close to going up for parole. Now, when you got to be like what they call custody, minimum custody, and I was at Draper, and I was getting close, and when I got to about my 4th year before I was going up for parole, they gave me my custody to check out, which is work outside of the camp, because you had to be like in a criteria level or whatever, to go outside the camp. And they gave me a job at a garage. Now, I'm not a mechanic. And when the warden assigned me that job, I'm not a mechanic, so I told the woman, I said, I ain't no mechanic. I said, man, I don't want to go back there and mess nobody's stuff up. So this is a female warden, and I say, when you at a camp where you got a female warden, you at a hell of a camp. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, man, they is more strict, more hard, and then some are so difficult to the point they makes the camp. They put, well, I'm gonna say I ain't gonna get no name, but they put tension in the camp. Where his camp can't be ran right. It's unstable. There's always some stabbing, some big fights, gang fights, stealing, box breaking, or whatever. There's always some tension in that camp because they take so much away where they make the time so hard for them. And her statement was, when I told her, I said, I ain't no mechanic, and she was like, well, go back there and learn something. That's her exact words. And I was like, okay then. So I went back there. I told him, I said, hey man, I'll change the oil or change the spark plugs or something. I even just, put the cars on the rack or something. So the dude that was running the shop, and believe it or not, he was working in the prison system, and he used to be an inmate at the prison system. But he was so good of a mechanic that the guy that was retiring spoke up for his behalf when he got out to get that job. And when I got back there, me and him talked. I worked back there for a day. Changed a couple cars, oil, and changed some tires or whatever. Took down some numbers, checked in some cars and stuff like that. The next day he said, man, I'm gonna assign you to the gate. Well, that's all you gotta do is bring cars in and let cars out. If they bring their own cars, you just let them in. But you ain't got. And I was like, I did that for 2 years. I did that for 2 years. And my 2 years, my second year, they gave me my custody, which is called community custody, and sent me to a community camp. I couldn't go to work release, so they gave me my community custody, sent me to another camp, which was called Ready, and we don't get paid to work, but we got the opportunity to go outside and work, and that was like, man, I said, if this wasn't gonna be, I'm gonna be here until I get out, because I know I can't go to work release. So usually going nowhere else, because this camp really got a lot of jobs, so it's a lot of opportunity. Well, I don't have to be in the camp. I could be at my job majority of my day. So when I get there, man, look at it. They gave me some rough jobs, man. I'm saying they gave me some warehouse jobs, some type of bag breaking job. It takes a forklift or some type of machine or equipment to do the job that we as men were doing manually with our hands. I was grateful for it, because I was like, man, I'm showing that I'm able to go outside to work, but I was like, this ain't where I want to be in until I go to work. I got 2 years to go to work. After about 6 months, I want to say, man, I prayed on it. So I'm going to say about 4 months. I get a job transfer because of some guy who doing some illegal stuff out there, and they get caught up. So I was out on the run. I was way up in Huntsville. And while we was in Huntsville, they came down and busted them guys, and they brought in the whole squad. Gave me another job, and I was working at the ABC warehouse, which is the beverage house for the alcohol. And they got inmates out there working around alcohol and stuff. Man, that wasn't a job up to par. Had to get rid of us because one of the guys that worked with us was drinking on the job. So they brought in the whole squad, reassigned all of us, and I ended up at the baseball stadium. Now, let me say, I like, man, it was a blessing. I like, man, it was the best job ever. As well as I was getting close to going up. I was close to my 10th year. So that's when I took up the other programs. It was in the chapel. And I was going out to the chapel, taking up. Soon I get in, I'm telling, man, I'm tired, but I was like, let me go take my shower. I'm finna go out of the class. And I stuck with it. Did my 13 weeks. I thought about it. I said, I'm gonna go out here and do another one. So when the next one started, I went out there and did another one. And as I was getting closer to going up for parole, I stuck with it. I said, man, I'm finna go out here and do another one. When the next class started, let me go sign up for it. I went up and signed up for that one. And clarification, every time I get my certificate, go up there, tell I print my certificate, I put it in my file. As well, let me say the clarification officer, she was my clarification officer, Ed Draper, and we built the bond because I filed some paperwork against them about my custody. And I didn't know it was going to go against the clarification officer. So it was like a lawsuit, but it was against the warden, the assistant warden, the clarification officer, the clarification downtown, the commissioner, all. So I was like, we had a talk about that. This how we kind of got close. We had a talk about it. She was like, man, you were my first lawsuit. And I was like, man, I didn't know it was a lawsuit, but I knew it was a complaint. You know, it was a complaint, but I didn't address it as a lawsuit. But I was like, I felt like I deserved a little bit more leniency in the facility because it was other guys with way more hectic crimes and cases than mine was going out, you know, had the custody, you know, getting treated. I'm talking about get ready up, go to the locker room, come right back out and check outside the gate. And I'm like, man, hell man, I'm doing everything. And these guys got a little bit more time than me or got some cases same similar mine. I found one case exactly like me because I went to the law library too and I stuck in the law library as well. And I was like, man, that ain't what's up. I said, man, I deserve, you know, the opportunity to, you know, show that I'm ready for society as well. You know, I was granted an opportunity and I dropped it. I did drop it. I didn't go all the way out with it. When I got my custody, and she was like, anything, she said, man, she gonna go all the way out for me. She like, man, whatever she gonna do, she gonna do it. So, man, I appreciated that. And when she went to Red Eagle, that's how I ended over there. She recommended that I go over there behind her. When I was eligible to get my community cousin, she told me she's gonna see to that I get over there as well. And I was like, man, I said, man, that was up. So when I get there, all right, let me get to the point when I went up for parole. I woke up that morning, a little checked out. I try to keep it off my mind, but I know I was going up that day. I know I'll be at work when I go up for parole. So I was like, man, when I get in, I just call them folks and I'll find out what's going on. They go ahead and let me go. So I'm like, man, I ain't gonna get my hopes up, but I am kind of, you know, jittery on that side. Man, I'm hoping, I'm praying. I did the best I could, you know, and man, it was lunchtime, and the supervisor out there that was working up on he taking it upon himself to check because me and him talking. I was telling him I was going up for parole, and he was in support of me. He was like, man, you gonna make it. And now I should have went down there and spoken to hell with your family, but I was like, man, it was enough down there. That's why I didn't really want him to go down there, because I was like, it's enough down there. I don't really need that. I was like, man, if they gonna let me go, they gonna let me go, because I believe I done showed up for myself enough to let them know I'm ready. So what happened? It was coming to lunch. It was going on our lunch break, which like, but then out there they treat us nice. So the kitchen cooked for us. Well, we can sit down and eat a decent meal for lunch. And I go up there. I prepare my plate. I don't eat with everybody. I eat separate. So I go down to a building we call the greenhouse, where the field guy office is. So I go down there, man, it was pretty cool. So I go down there and eat, and all me and him always talk. And I was like, man, I'm gonna, and Steve is his name. He pulled up. And he was like, man, when he found out, he was like, man, he said, man, I got some news for you. So I said, what the news is? So he was like, well, he said, man, you ain't gonna run on, man. I said, all right, here we go. I said, it doesn't sound good. So he said, man, you all right? So I was like, yeah, I'm all right. So he said, well, I got word they shot you off for 2 years. So I said, oh, man. I said, man, I ain't bothered. I said, man, I'm cool. I said, 2 years, that's all? Because me dealing with a life sentence, I always told from day one when I entered into the system, they was like, man, be prepared, because when you go off for parole, they're going to set you off the first time, 5 years. Even the clarification specialist told me. And they said they were going to send me off 5 years. And I was like, man, I was like, damn, I had like 15 years. So they shot me off too. I was like, man, it got to be something to go. I said, man, it ain't over. So I was like, when I get in, I'll call my family and I'm going to see what else I can do. I was like, maybe I can shorten up them 2 years. So I got to writing. I filed papers like, man, bring me up a little bit early, 2. All that. And I found out the guy that recommended I was set off, because 2 was in my favor to let me go, but it was 1. And with a life sentence in Alabama, the first time you go off parole, you got to have all 3 board members in your favor. But any time after that, 2 out of 1, you're a free man. And I found out, man, I worked with others, got my people to call to see have any changes been made. And I want after about a year and a half, my family got wind. I got a letter that gave me a cut. Oh man, that was it. They gave me a cut. When I went up, man, they told my family that they'd just be ready to let me go. They started a program they wanted me to go to, but when I made parole, my family was calling, and they was like, well, I ain't got to worry about the program. They just gonna let me straight on out. Oh man, I'm talking about with nothing but a parole officer. You talking to somebody was acting. But then I was like, man, I made some real change in my life, and I ain't really got into depth with prison stories or what went on up in prison, which you hear somewhat is what it is. And when I went max, everything up and up from, you see guys coming out straight men, heteros, and man, a lot get taken from them. So it was like, man, you got to be a strong individual. And I watched a lot of people, health-wise, wasn't up to par. Guys them passed. I had a friend named Dubos. He was a blind man out of Mobile. And he was blind, and he used to talk with this guy. He was an old guy, man, he was real sickly. He got a lot of sickly people up in there. And the guy died on his bed, and they charged Dubos with the murder case, and he was blind, man. And he was up in there for selling drugs. And it was a sad situation, because he was like, man, this man didn't intentionally kill this dude, but dude, he was so fragile that when he pushed me, he had a heart attack. And they charged the man with more. They even yellow taped his bunk like it was a crime scene on the streets. And I was amazed, because I was like, man, how could they charge that man? The man blind. The man ain't intent. He just pushed the guy. But the man sat down. When he laid back, he died then. And I done seen a lot of stabbings. I done even got into a fight myself, which I didn't tell. And of course, my little stride through prison, but I don't want to lock up. I did 9 months in lockup. They gave me an assault on an inmate, and it was actually a fight. And that was even the worst, because this man, I thought have been dead 45 days on lockup, and they closed my custody, and they made me and the guy enemies. But it was a fight on the yard under the towel, and then they went off what the officer in the towel said, and the guy told them we was fighting. But they didn't want to hear that. The warden was like, hey, I ain't gonna be causing no problems in the camp. But I done overcame a lot. I done overcame a lot since I've been out. When I first got out, when I told earlier in the story, I hopped out running. I'm talking work. I'm talking working my ass off. But since this pandemic, I ain't been able to get myself situated, and I know there's a lot of people going through it out there. So, I'm still happy to be free, but still, people still gotta live. I got to live. Bills got to be paid. You know, I don't even have transportation now, but I gotta get that back going. Man, lost a vehicle. Man, but hey, man, for the ones that may be doing something crazy out there, or whatever illegal activity you're into or what out there, or whatnot, hey, man, get yourself together, because man, freedom ain't for nobody. Right now, with this pandemic going on, this most definitely ain't for. And I'm still, I take calls from friends that's up in there. I got a friend up in there right now, which I did stay in the video and all. I was like, man, me, his brother, and a couple other, because his mom passed since he been locked up. We try to keep him straight. And I was like, man, it's really hard on me because I really ain't got nothing. I usually keep some on his phone. When he called, I send him some when his brother might have ran through his brother money, his dad money. Man, let me put some on his book. But I was like, man, the job I was at, it was at a distance, because the stadium isn't going anymore. So because of the pandemic, I was working at the Hyundai plant, and man, that's way in another area in the county of Montgomery. I'm in the city of Montgomery, so I was like, man, I wasn't able to, move over to that job, and I've been trying to get stuff going around me somewhere in this area, but today, I stay online, look to see can I find something new, because I was like, man, my patience good. And I was like, man, I don't learn a whole lot. I was like, man, trouble ain't me no more. And I was like, man, right now, I'm focused on this YouTube. And I was like, man, maybe things are iron out from now. But, all right, I went to vent a little bit again. So, that's it for this video, y'all. Like, subscribe, follow, share my video, man. Support my video, my channel, man. I'm trying to get something going, man. I need y'all with me. So, for the ones that coming on in, man, check out my videos. I'm gonna try to upload something every day, if not every day, every other day. But then, hit the subscribe and get all the notifications. And you see what, man, watch my videos, like my videos, comment. Let me know type of any adjustments I need to make, suggestions, anything, just let me know, I know I'm just battling right now. Appreciate y'all watching. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and I appreciate y'all watching. Loud Journey, and I'm out.